step back in time to the year 1303 BCE, a remarkable era that witnessed the birth of one of Egypt's most legendary rulers, Ramses II. A beacon of power and wisdom, he shaped the golden age of this ancient civilization, leaving an indelible mark as a formidable warrior, master architect, and visionary reformer. Brace yourself for an enthralling journey as we unravel the captivating story of Ramses II and immerse yourself in the awe-inspiring tales of ancient Egypt's extraordinary pharaoh. Welcome to our channel. Discover the captivating episodes of our Origin series, for which I leave a link above, guiding you through the history of mankind in chronological order. Don't miss this incredible journey. Subscribe, like, and share to help us reach even more curious minds. Thank you. Ramses II. A colossal figure in ancient Egypt, revered for over 3,200 years as its foremost pharaoh. Stroll through Luxor and Abu Simbel in Aswan, where his captivating reign still captivates. These architectural marvels embody his grand vision, a testament to the ruler of rulers. He constructed an unparalleled number of monuments and statues compared to other pharaohs, ruling for 66 years, bestowing ancient Egypt with its final days of splendor, a concluding golden era before the onset of decline. The civilization never regained its former might. Hence, later Egyptians dubbed him the Great Ancestor. Acknowledging the potency of diplomacy and a comprehensive public relations campaign, Ramses the Great won enduring admiration from the Egyptians, famed for his military acumen. In the 13th century BC, ancient Egypt underwent recovery from the tumultuous Amarna period, characterized by the reign of Akhenaten, which had considerably weakened the empire. Subsequently, the demise of Pharaoh Horemheb in 1295 BC marked the end of the 18th Egyptian dynasty, leaving the Egyptian throne vacant without a successor. Before his demise, Horemheb designated his vizier, Pharaohs, as his successor to the empire due to his unwavering loyalty and having a son and grandson to continue the lineage. After ruling for 2 years, Pharaohs passed away, and his son, Seti I, ascended to the throne, revitalizing the empire by reclaiming territory and reinforcing its might. Seti bolstered the nation's prosperity by establishing mines and quarries while fortifying the northern frontier against the Hittites. For a solid 10 to 15 years he ruled, steering the kingdom toward stability amid the lingering political and religious turmoil, a legacy of Akhenaten's monotheistic revolution 4 decades earlier. The nation grappled not only with internal challenges, but also confronted its archenemy, the Hittite Empire. The Hittites had extended their dominion from Hattusa, situated in present-day central Turkey, southward into Syria, eventually bordering Egypt. Born in the year 1303, Ramses was the son of Seti and his great royal wife Tuya. At the age of 14, Ramses was appointed as the Prince Regent, bestowed with the rank of army captain, and accompanied his father on military expeditions. In his youth, he found love and married the love of his life, Nefertari. On an ordinary day in 1279, Egypt awoke to devastating news. Seti I, who had reigned for 15 years, passed away, leaving the nation in mourning. In the year 1279 BCE, Egypt stood as the most prominent nation in the known world. It was during this momentous year that the greatest and most formidable pharaoh of the new empire would ascend to power. Ramses II. shaping the destiny of a magnificent civilization. Ramses II, dubbed the Great Ancestor by his successors and later Egyptians. Ramesses was the illustrious third pharaoh of Egypt's 19th dynasty. His reign spanned an awe-inspiring 66 years, lasting until 1213 BCE. Having been a captain in the army since his teens, Ramses possessed valuable combat experience. In the initial 5 years of his reign, Ramses II led 5 victorious military endeavors, including a naval confrontation in the Delta against the Shardana pirates and expeditions to Asia in response to Hittite threats. Conquests in Libya, where he established several colonies and constructed numerous fortresses to safeguard them. Notably, Ramses II engaged in the largest battle in history up to that moment, the Battle of Kadesh. Ramses was keenly aware of the city of Kadesh's strategic significance, recognizing its importance, both in economic and military terms. During that era, the city was under Hittite rule, serving as a prized military asset and a crucial trading hub. Positioned amidst the empire borders, the city was a crossroads. In Asia Minor, the Hittite Empire expanded, with their king posing as a formidable rival to the Egyptian pharaohs, leading to frequent clashes between the two powers. Three millennia and 3 centuries ago, traversing an entire army through the Syrian desert posed formidable challenges. Having a city like Kadesh as an ally offered the Hittites a valuable base of operations, explaining the shared desire of Egypt and Hattusa, the Hittite capital, to control this strategic city. During the 5th year of his reign, Ramses resolved to put an end to the Hittite attacks. A conflict erupted in Egypt as they vied for control over Kadesh. Ramses guided his army northward, marching towards the city of Kadesh. The Battle of Kadesh stands as the pinnacle conflict of the Bronze Age. Involving an estimated 50,000 soldiers, with 20,000 from Egypt and 30,000 from the Hittites. The Hittites held a significant advantage in war chariots, boasting around 3,500 compared to Egypt's 2,000. However, Ramses' army possessed more advanced war chariots and seasoned soldiers. They were organized into 4 divisions, each named after Egyptian gods: Amun, Seth, Ta, and Ra. Leading the charge at the forefront of Amun's division, the pharaoh embarked on his journey to the battleground, passing through present-day Gaza in Palestine, with Ra's division following closely. Along the way, Ramses encountered two Bedouin herdsmen, whom he interrogated. From them, he gleaned crucial intelligence about his adversary, the Hittite king Muwatalli. Muwatalli had strategically divided his army into two segments, with one stationed in Old Kadesh and the other lying in wait at the New Kadesh. Filled with euphoria, the pharaoh hastened the march, firmly believing that arriving at the esplanade first would grant him a significant advantage in the battle. Unbeknownst to Ramses, the two Bedouins he encountered were actually agents of the Hittite king, who had cunningly set a trap for him. As a result, Amun's division became isolated from the rest of the army, falling directly into the trap's clutches. The Hittites had succeeded, and now they would only have to face one of the four legions, Amun's division, commanded by Ramses himself. The Hittites had the potential to obliterate the main division, including the pharaoh, with one precise attack. Afterward, the Egyptian army apprehended several Hittite soldiers, who, under interrogation, revealed the enemy's actual position, concealed on the opposite side of the Orontes River, near Kadesh. Upon uncovering this crucial information, Ramses swiftly communicated with the rest of the army, summoning all divisions to assemble at the front. Upon receiving the intelligence, the Hittites swiftly initiated an offensive against Ra's nearby legion. The surprise Hittite attack inflicted significant casualties on Ra's division, compelling them to retreat to the camp, alongside Amun's division. The sudden Egyptian withdrawal inadvertently exposed the camp's location, allowing the Hittites to detect it. Not long after the division's arrival at the camp, the Hittite army appeared on the horizon. Tracked by their foes, the camp was under siege. Despite fierce Egyptian resistance, the Hittites eventually overran it. However, the Hittites made a critical blunder, presuming the Egyptian army was utterly defeated. Opting to loot the camp, they unknowingly allowed Amun's division and remnants of Ra's to flee. Seizing the moment, Ramses launched a swift counteroffensive, compelling the rival to retreat across the river. Muwatalli prepared his army to rejoin the front, employing troops and reserve chariots. These forces pushed Ramses to retreat toward the camp. Unexpectedly, the Hittites found themselves encircled by the two remaining Egyptian divisions. Faced with this situation, the Hittite king had no option but to withdraw across the river. The troops were compelled to swim, resulting in numerous casualties. Despite this triumph, the city of Kadesh could not be besieged with a depleted army. Hence, Ramses opted to withdraw, leaving the battle as a stalemate. Upon his return from the battle, Ramses disseminated the news. Despite the battle being deemed a draw, the pharaoh presented it to his people as a triumph, marking the first instance of war propaganda in history. Ramses elevated his propaganda efforts to unprecedented heights. He made certain that his story was engraved on numerous temples, spanning the entire expanse of Egyptian territory. Here I am, by myself. There is no one by my side. My warriors and my chariots have abandoned me. None listened, the voice of their king, when he asked for help. But I find that the grace of Amun is far better for me than 1,000,000 warriors and 10,000 chariots. I was ready to fight, like a rabid bull. Armed with my weapons of victory, I charged into their ranks, like a hawk. I was like Ra, when he rises at dawn. My rays burned the bodies of the rebels. The remaining rebels threw themselves in front of my horses, begging for their lives. I finished them off mercilessly. Although shrouded in fantasy, the goal was achieved. It transformed how all Egyptians perceived him, with awe and admiration. Nonetheless, the Hittites remained a persistent threat. Following the Battle of Kadesh, a prolonged, intense Cold War ensued between the two powers. An unstable equilibrium persisted for 16 years, until Ramses and the new Hittite king, Hattusili III, were compelled by exhaustion to sign a peace treaty, putting an end to over a decade of border conflicts. This being the first peace treaty in history. Encouraged by the rise of Assyria and turmoil in western Anatolia, the Hittites embraced the treaty, while Ramses confronted a fresh Libyan threat in the western delta. Both the Egyptian and Hittite versions of the treaty endure. It encompassed a commitment to cease further hostilities, forged a mutual alliance against external attacks and internal uprisings, and facilitated the extradition of fugitives. The gods of both lands were invoked as witnesses. In a display of diplomatic goodwill, Ramses wedded the eldest daughter of the Hittite king, uniting their families, including Nefertari, his principal queen. From the time of Kadesh, Egypt and the Hittites lived in harmony for roughly 110 years, until the Hittite Empire met its demise in the year 1190 BC, when it was entirely destroyed by the enigmatic Sea Peoples. Ramses fathered over 100 children, through his unions with more than 200 wives. Despite his extensive marital ties, he held a special affection for his first wife, his favorite, Nefertari. They married in their teens, when Ramses was crown prince, and she remained his beloved favorite until her passing. Historical accounts suggest that Nefertari passed away early in their marriage, perhaps during childbirth. Ramses consistently honored her memory, immortalizing Nefertari through engravings and statues, even amid subsequent marriages. Under Ramses's reign, Egypt witnessed its most magnificent era, marked by remarkable economic prosperity that fostered the flourishing of literature and science. This abundance also enabled him to construct grandiose buildings across the land. Among the significant transformations he brought about during his reign, one noteworthy accomplishment was achieving foreign peace. During the initial 2 decades of his reign, the pharaoh diligently laid the groundwork for a durable peace, particularly with the most challenging neighboring cities. Alongside the peace treaty with the Hittites, following the Battle of Kadesh, he also constructed a series of fortifications along his western border to repel the Libyans. The relative peace facilitated a surge in foreign trade, a crucial activity for Egypt, a distinct country situated as an oasis in the desert and lacking essential resources, such as sufficient iron mines. Foreign trade, operated as a state monopoly, played a pivotal role in the economy during this period. Religious control. From the outset, Ramses skillfully curbed the influence of the powerful priests from the Temple of Amun in Thebes, who held significant sway within Egypt. As soon as he assumed the throne, the pharaoh successfully secured the appointment of his candidate, Nebuchadnezzar, as the supreme priest, ensuring loyalty to his reign. Furthermore, to keep the priests detached from political intrigues, he orchestrated the capital's relocation from Thebes to the new city of Pi-Ramesses. The court was initially moved to Memphis, before the final transfer to Pi-Ramesses. The motives behind the pharaoh's decision to distance himself from Thebes and its influential clergy remain uncertain, considering the historical conflict Akhenaten faced with the powerful clergy of Amun. Nevertheless, this monarch proved to be a shrewd politician and recognized the significance of being in proximity to the north, particularly the tumultuous region of the eastern Mediterranean. Additionally, moving away from the ancient capital resulted in the decline of influence for the Theban aristocracy, which in turn favored the rise of the army and the royal scribes in the political landscape. Ending with the fraud. In Ramses' era, justice administration focused heavily on abolishing tax collectors' abuses. In instances of peasant insolvency, their assets were no longer subject to seizure, diverging from past practices. That safeguarded the peasants from such hardships. He had an army of officials. Ramses possessed a well-organized tax and administrative machinery, skillfully managed by a substantial army of scribes, whose efficiency was a testament to the efforts of his predecessors. Furthermore, the state monopoly on the gold mines of Nubia and those near the Red Sea operated at maximum capacity, contributing significantly to the replenishment of the public coffers. The opulent construction campaign of Ramses' reign stands as a testament to his immense wealth. It was the most extensive and grandiose undertaking by any pharaoh in history. The temples of Karnak and Abu Simbel remain among Egypt's greatest wonders. Ramses' mortuary temple, the Ramesseum, housed an enormous library with 10,000 papyrus scrolls. By completing the construction of the temples in Abydos, he effectively amplified the stature of both his father and himself. In the Nile Valley, from the main cities of Egypt to the desert routes leading to the Red Sea or Sinai, the king's name is inscribed on facades at the base of columns and in friezes adorning the walls everywhere. While he was not the first pharaoh to be revered as a deity, he was the first to consistently dedicate temples and statues in his own honor. Ramses, like Hatshepsut or Amenhotep III, was among the few pharaohs who genuinely believed that they were begotten by the head of the pantheon, the almighty Amun-Ra. The temple of Ramses II, called the Great Temple, featured 4 enormous statues at its entrance, depicting the pharaoh. Its construction spanned 2 decades. The Little Temple, another structure, symbolized the pharaoh's affectionate bond with his first wife, Nefertari, and portrayed Hathor, the goddess of love. Ramses consistently dedicated temples and statues in his own honor, and he even commissioned statues of his predecessors, attributing them to himself. To prevent his successors from claiming credit for his achievements, Ramses took precautionary measures by leaving a distinctive mark or deep seal on each of the structures he constructed. Despite his remarkable buildings, Ramses' most significant achievement was the city known as Home of Ramses, constructed from scratch and accommodating 300,000 inhabitants. Regrettably, the city was abandoned in 1060 due to the disappearance of a Nile River arm that previously supplied its water. Extensive excavations in Giza and other regions in Egypt have unearthed numerous traces of construction projects completed during his reign. Employed skilled Egyptian laborers. The well-documented custom of Egyptian citizens voluntarily participating in the pharaoh's architectural projects was a crucial aspect of construction during Ramses' reign. The belief was that souls would be summoned to engage in architectural projects for Osiris, the Lord of the Dead, in the afterlife. The pharaoh lived to the remarkable age of 90, a feat almost beyond belief. Before his passing, Ramses had been afflicted with ailments like arthritis, hardening of the arteries, and dental issues. Despite his long and mighty reign, his time had finally come to an end. After reigning for an impressive 66 years, the renowned warrior and builder met his end due to a mere cavity. He was initially laid to rest in the Valley of the Kings near Thebes, but later his body was relocated to a cache of royal mummies, where it was uncovered in 1881. Ramses II is often linked to the pharaoh mentioned in the Bible's book of Exodus. His extraordinary longevity became a double-edged sword. Ramses experienced the passing of numerous relatives and collaborators who played crucial roles in building a prosperous state. As he aged, he struggled to manage the irregularities of his new officials effectively. Eventually, his 13th son, Meremta, succeeded him to the throne as the new pharaoh. Becoming pharaoh at the age of 60, the advanced age of the new ruler led to significant succession challenges for future rulers of his dynasty. Ramses undeniably stood as the last great pharaoh of Egypt, leaving a lasting legacy on the history of ancient Egypt. 9 successive pharaohs adopted his name upon ascending the throne, solidifying his status as the great among the illustrious rulers of Egypt. Thank you for coming this far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave us a like. And if you like the content, please share it on social media. Thank you.